So, welcome to Dubai. It is for you.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Sadaf Khalid. We're running a live session for COP28, which is happening in Dubai from 1st to 12th December. I welcome my distinguished guest, Samara Isaac, all the way from Dubai, where the COP28 is happening. She's the General Manager, Gulf Dunes, Deputy Chair, ICC Middle East Chapter. Samara Isaac is a MICE and tourism industry veteran with over 25 years of experience, having led some largest DMCs and PCO organizations around the world, and has been an advisor to governments, tourist boards, and associations throughout her storied career. She is a leader on topics including strategic development, globalization, and diversity of today's tourism industry, and has helped organizations make quantitative progress in addressing gaps in the tourism industry and drive future innovations. Hi, Sumera. Welcome to our It's For You campaign, which we are running for COP28. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sadaf. Thank you so much, and Inga, for having me. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Okay, so let's hear your story because you're in Dubai where the COP28 is happening, and our event is a virtual event. We're trying to follow the news. We would like to hear your global perspective from your expertise. What the sustainable tourism is related to environmental challenges globally? What are they talking? How have you been interacting with them? Yes, Mara, let's hear your story.
So I'm Sumera Isaacs. I'm actually really a product of UAE, although I'm from Pakistan and I'm Canadian as well. But this is where my roots are. This is where I grew up. So I've really seen this destination grow in tourism, particularly from just having two hotels to in the last 25 years to what Dubai or UAE as a country is all about, and I've also been involved in the journey, before COP, it was Expo 2020, if we lived through that. And I think there was a huge, I think that's where the country really turned the page on sustainability. That's where the conversations really started. And I feel that COP 28 is an extension of that. The seeds were really laid during the Expo 2020. So yes, I'm here. I'm very fortunate that this groundbreaking program is taking place here in my city. But my own history and background, I've actually been involved with COP meetings in the past as well. I was responsible for COP12 that took place in Hyderabad, Deccan, many years ago. So we delivered that event on the ground. We were the official agency. So, so I understand the ethos. I understand what drives this organization and the impact that it has, not just for the destination where it is taking place, but globally, the future of sustainability, this is where the world leaders come. This is where you have a real opportunity to affect change, and for the governments to listen, and perhaps to some in some ways to put them in a box and in a corner. They have no choice but to listen and to pay attention. That what the world today wants to see happening for the next generation. So I think so from that perspective, COP is a very significant event.
Okay, so Samara, thank you for sharing that. So my question to you is environment. COP is focused on environment challenges, and tourism play a very vital role. When we talk about globally, the plastic pollution is creating havoc on the beautiful beach destinations, whether we talk of Maldives, whether we talk of Malaysia, whether we talk of Indonesia, Thailand, anywhere in the world. What's your take on how are the discussions and what are the governments planning to combat the plastic pollution when it comes to the tourism side? Because we know that tourism all around the world have the same challenges. So my question to is, because we have still a long way to go, and I haven't seen that projects coming up to combat plastic pollution. Yes, Samara.
Yeah, so plastic is one, but I think just to put it in perspective, because I know during COP28, not everybody is very engaged where tourism as a subject is concerned, because they are tackling with so many areas. But just for the listeners, it's really important to understand the impact, the negative environmental impact that tourism has today. It depletes the local resources, natural resources, and the situation is incredibly concerning regarding the overuse of water. Okay, given that the tourism accounts for 1% of global water consumption. Then there is also pollution. I didn't know specifically that you were going to ask me about plastic, but the water and carbon emissions, these are hot topics here at the moment. According to the latest studies, tourism is responsible for approximately 8% of the world's carbon emissions. So there is an increase in the generation of waste. The stress put on the use of local land leads to soil erosion. You know that that's happening so much in Pakistan at the moment, and disruption of natural habitat, which harms even more already endangered species. And of course, then you come into plastic and micro plastics, right? That's one that that is the new buzzword that I've picked up here during COP, is that how do you eliminate microplastics, because people think that, okay, plastic is just big pieces or chunks, but the microplastics are going into the system of the local habitats, the fish that we eat. It's actually landing up on our plates today, and that's what we are consuming, and everybody used to say that seafood is safe. It's not safe anymore. What's the alternate to be for the meats and red meats and all of that? So what do you eat? You go vegan then completely, and that's the only route. So I think the microplastics is playing a big role. But at the same time, what I've also picked up here is that there is a lot of innovation going on. Okay, there is a real drive to see that how do we turn the page on all of that, because I'm seeing the difference between COP12 that I was part of and COP28. Now the big journey. At that time, we were just explaining to people what sustainability is all about. But now in the tourism industry itself, what is happening is that the travelers themselves are demanding 90% of them. There was a study conducted by Booking.com, Sadaf, and in that one, they asked the consumers, okay, what are the issues plaguing them when they are making a booking, and 90% of them have said that they already looking for sustainable options when traveling. With 4 out of 5 customers are confirming that sustainable tourism is a topic they care about. So it's the consumers who are now coming and telling the industry that sit up and do something about it. Similarly, Expedia has done some research and surveys, and the travelers' preference has shifted towards favoring more sustainable options. 3 in 5 respondents in that survey have claimed that environmental friendly means of transportation or lodging while traveling during the last couple of years are absolutely critical. So sustainability has become a very important decision making process when for average traveler. They are avoiding areas where there is mass tourism. They don't want to go to those areas. At least 26 to 30% are now saying we want to go to places where we are not impacting the environment. So people, there is more education. So what I'm also picking up the sound bites at COP is that sustainability is also in tourism in particular. It's an economic decision now.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
when you have mass tourism, what happens? The prices of real estate go up. Locals are not able to afford cheap housing, mortgage rates, interest rates. So it has a ripple effect. So wherever real estate gets impacted, that has an overall impact on the local economy. So it's an economic undertaking for governments. They have to sit up and pay attention, and our industry has to sit up and pay attention, and make it easy for organizations to start on their level. So I always say start on your own level and
Yeah.
then see what your neighbors are doing. So organizations like ours have a
Mhm.
huge role to play.
Okay. Okay, brilliant. So another question that I want to ask Sumera, because I come from the tourism and hospitality industry myself, being in the industry, grew up in this industry from Pakistan, seeing my resort in that areas. Another hot topic, and as you say, the consumer are asking, is the eco-tourist lodge concept around the globe. How is that? Because when I talk about such projects in Pakistan, it's relatively new. They say that people will not invest in such projects because we need to educate the local communities exactly what eco-tourist lodge is. How do you? I want to hear your views, global perspective. How is that coming up in terms of investment, and when you talk about combine it with climate and environmental challenges, because I think that will be also helping conserving our environment in the beautiful places, whether we talk about Europe, whether we talk about the Middle East, whether we talk about Dubai where you're here. So tell us more about this eco-tourist lodge concept globally.
So I'm the so when I was in Pakistan, I remember when I worked with on the ITZs at that time and with the KPK province as well. So this was a new buzzword at that time, the lodges, the ecotourism lodges, because it's all part of that whole integrated tourism zones, and that environment that can be created, and these become fundamental. A resort like that is given, right? But whilst it is important, I want to little bit differentiate here because um, in destinations like UAE, for example, we don't have a lot of lodges. So what do you do? So that it becomes a responsibility of your normal hotels. Okay, the entire city has to be an ITZ. Everybody has to participate. Yes, it's fashionable to have eco resorts, and there are certain destinations that lend themselves to that. The greenery, the environments, the mountains. Okay, and the villages, you can set that up, and you work with local communities because they become important part of the local fabric, because you use local products to develop them. And everything is locally sourced, and you create jobs. So that's very important in certain continents, Africa, and so forth. But to the mass tourism destinations, okay, the urban destinations, which don't have these resorts, so is it only something their responsibility, or those destinations where you can have these ITZs? No, I think it's everybody's responsibility. I feel that it's really the responsibility of these urban big centers of tourism, and the hotels that are already there, or companies like ours who already exist, that it, it's something that we can integrate as well, because here it's harder in these destinations to do. But this is where also the maximum impact will come from. You can have resorts in some remote area, maybe 15 or 30 chalets. That's great, that's beautiful, it's sexy, it's nice to visit, but the impact of that is still small, right? Therefore, for me, what's important is how fast and how quick you can make the change. And that change will only happen if the big urban centers, tourism centers, adapt the same rules as these eco resorts,
Okay.
and when they're building the buildings, the future buildings that they're building. So here we are already seeing the government is really taking very strict measures that are how the buildings are being built now. Most of the new hotels which have come online in the last 10 years to now in the future have taken into account some of the principles of sustainability. Unfortunately, not everything here can be sourced locally, so a lot of it is still brought in. But still, having said that, they're breaking new ground in sustainability. There are some of the initiatives that are being taken by the tourism boards, and I'm talking about the tourism boards in the region, in the MENA region, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Saudi Arabia. Look what they're doing. It's just incredible. And so these tourism authorities and boards have tourism stamps. They have tourism sustainability stamps, sustainability criteria, websites dedicated to sustainability. They've launched award schemes, for local service providers, that how we all can be part of such a process. And as a result of it, destinations like Ras Al Khaimah, nobody has heard of them. But just now, I was reading that it's been announced that I think this last week, Ras Al Khaimah has been voted as the number 4 destination in the world to live in. And sustainability is a huge part of it. And they've actually left cities. Dubai is on number 11, and I think Abu Dhabi is somewhere between 4 and 10. But this small emirate has just done incredible work in sustainability.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'll ask Inger Met, who's joining us all the way from Oslo, bringing her into discussion as well. Hi, Inger, how are you doing? Thank you for joining our discussion on global sustainable perspective. So tell us about your perspective about, because Norway and Scandinavia and Sweden, they're doing amazing on sustainability. I've also seen some. I haven't visited. I have just visited Oslo myself, but the other areas. What's your take on the sustainability and tourism perspective? How are you progressing, and what's happening in COP28 in Dubai as well? Yes, Inger. You have to unmute, Inger.
Thank you, Sadaf, and thank you for flying in from Dubai and sharing your perspective, Sumaira. And I like to say that as a Norwegian, I'm also a global citizen, and I've been in fact living in Cairo like for a small time, a couple of more than 10 years back. But also I was at COP27 in Egypt and in Sharm el Sheikh, and before that I went back also to the oasis of Siwa in Egypt. So to really understand the ecosystem of a hot area or the desert land or in the MENA region is a completely different when you compare to Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Iceland, the Nordic countries as such up here in the north. Right now I'm living in a fridge. It's like 10 degrees outside and 30 centimeters of snow. So it's hard to compare. But if you allow me, Sadaf, I'd like to present what you're talking about, the eco resorts from Egypt. I like to present. And
sure, go ahead, Inger.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I had prepared everything so I could present it to you. I hope it comes forward like this. You see the webpage, I think, well?
Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
So this is in 900 kilometers from Cairo. So you drive towards Libya desert, and it's a beautiful place. And the rooms are in here. You see the mountain, and it's a mud-based, salt-based mud construction, and it's completely silent. There is no electricity. It's candle lights. It's local grown food, and it's one of the most prestigious ecologies on the planet. So what the press say that it's just unique. They're all in all these magazines about the unique experience of being close to nature. And the food is brilliant. They are taking the ingredients of the day, making local recipes. They're working with the locals to make it again and again and again, the same recipes, and it turns out beautifully. So this is one of my experience from the hot area of the Sahara and the MENA region, and this is Adre Ramelal, the White Mountain in the oasis of Siwa. So I connected the World Climate School to that ecosystem at the time when I was in Egypt, and worked on how to understand how we can learn better. And again, the biggest problem there is waste management, and right now they have a problem with flies, because there is no way that there is no system for rubbish and plastic as such. So plastic and rubbish is like floating in the village, because the more tourists come, the more plastic it creates as well. So the system here is it's a complete, and that is also duplicated in Ras Mahal, so there is and also in Sharm el Sheikh. They're working with the Bedouin community how to bring forward the cuisine, to have a localized building construction theme, and also what's also happening there is also the mangrove trees. So it's like integrated into a natural park where human indigenous people are living and can be part of the new ecosystem that comes side by side to the Sharm el Sheikh industrial machine or touristic machine. There is then trying to bring up an eco lodge north of Sharm el Sheikh. So I'm very concerned about how to protect and how to plant mangroves in places to protect the land. And of course, many places mangroves are tourist destination, take them away because they want to have clean beaches, right? So this is one of my first contribution to the conversation. And I also like to say that without knowing, I never been to Dubai. I think it is also like a futuristic city. It's part of the future to survive. It's an extremely unsustainable city in many ways, but it's still, there is technology tested out. There is very, architecture. The best architects on the planet are there. The best engineers on the planet are there. And for COP28, my take is that it's a showcase for what's possible. And really, it's a festival to celebrate what we can do. And that gives hope. And I think the blue zone with the delegates are, and the negotiation are going on, the green zone that is happening. And then in addition, you have all the meetings in the 5-star hotel, expensive hotels, very water consuming hotels, as you say, not sustainable at all, but it is happening. We have to celebrate what we have, and then we look into the next COP coming up, and we will do better.
Yeah.
Over to you, Sadaf. Yes, and then I'll fly back to Oslo in a bit.
Okay. Thanks, Inger, for sharing the perspective and the beautiful eco lodge that you, for our viewers, that you showed in Egypt. Coming back to Sumera, so your takeaway from COP28. What are your organizations, since you're working with the Gulf Dunes, as I come back to global perspective, sustainability? Are you adapting some regulations or compliance now? The ESG, the environmental social governance, is the new buzzword. We've shifted from CSR. I've also recently done some certification myself and getting into because that's the new, and around 75 countries have adapted, including UK. So how is that going to help in sustainability projects when we talk of tourism specifically? Yes, Sumera.
So just to thank you, Sadaf, and thank you, Inger, also for your insights. Really appreciate it, and that lovely resort that you just showed. So I just want to just mention the difference, right? Because you said now you have a problem there in Egypt about waste management, right? So
Yes.
it's a big problem. So the difference there and here is that here, the government is very conscious that we as entrepreneurs, we're business owners in tourism, we want to build, we want to dream, we want to build, and we are commercial organizations, right? That's what we want to do, and we want to be profitable. But the role of the government here is to support our dreams, okay? And we want to do it, and we want to deliver on the promise of sustainability to our customers, but we cannot do it alone. That's why we need very able and focused and visionary governments. I've always said that we can only do that much ourselves, but if you do, the role of the government is absolutely crucial in such aspects, right? And the local or national governments, they play, because we can only do that much. So obviously somebody dreamt this resort in Egypt and had a wonderful, wonderful idea to create it, but then you have all of these other infrastructural issues around it. And here, the beauty of this region, and I'm so happy to say that it's not just UAE anymore, right? The pie is growing bigger. And the sustainability, they have such huge targets by 2030, by 2020, 2040. What UAE is trying to achieve is just they've announced something which is called the national initiative, Dubai Sustainable Tourism Strategy, which is basically they have taken an alignment route that they have to have a vision and a growth strategy. So it encompasses Dubai Plan 2021, which was about sustainability. They delivered that first half. Then Smart Dubai Initiative, which is ongoing, Dubai Integrated Energy Strategy for 2030, and then Dubai Clean Energy Strategy 2050. And then of course the expo, and now COP is all part of that. So reinforcing the region's position, and not just the country, as a global center, and where the innovation will come through. We're building smart cities, putting in the infrastructure, and so that the region can become a role model in energy efficiency and security. Okay, so that's the sort of work that is going on. And previously, many years ago, we used to say they go and buy research and they bring it from US, from Europe, from Canada, and they bring research. They just go and buy it and buy the knowledge and bring it, and they try to implement and build their models around it. That's not the case anymore. You've got, the research happening right here. You've got major educational centers and universities which are right here, trying to help deliver that promise. So I think that's why COP is here. And so I just wanted to touch on that. Now, how does that boil down to myself, to my organization, and to us, to individuals, and as companies? So it's not easy. Even now, that it's not that straightforward. But there are several challenges. Okay, shifting to a more sustainable business model can be quite challenging. You just can't flip a switch and magically become a green friendly tour or activity provider overnight. Yeah, it will require plenty of work. It requires on our side. And even if we succeed, it can be tricky to communicate your efforts to the public in a clear way. So that's the challenge, right? That's something we live for that every day. We try to improve on it, but but we have no choice, because most consumers, they feel overwhelmed when starting a new process of becoming more conscious travelers. Whilst they want it, but when you start implementing it, it's not that simple. The road is not straightforward. But what is for us, which is very good for us, is that people the industry is moving in the same direction. That's very important, because again, the vision and the goals come from the top, from the leadership, and we all believe that we work for this big, large Inc., and we have to follow the rules. And so, but at the same time, to attract eco-minded consumers and efficiently communicate your value proposition. We have to have our marketing strategy inspired by certain principles, which are like transparency, making things easier for our customers and give them update and truthful information on all the relevant green policies applied by our company. I'm just talking about ourselves at the moment,
So,
right? We cannot fluff around it. We cannot,
so
and then you give clarity, avoid
just,
any.
just a quick question directed to your company and your operation to understand your customers. Are they coming from all over the world, from Canada, as you're also a citizen of Canada, I understand, but do they come from the Pakistan? What's your tour operational structure in Dubai?
So for our company, we are nearly 150 to 200 people working there. We are one of the largest tour operators here, and MICE agencies. So we do meetings, conferences, and exhibitions as well. And individual tourist business, we bring in something like 1,000 people a day to the country. So it's a huge operation, and they come from all over the world, not just from Canada, from US, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, and they come for leisure reason, and they come for business reason. And one of the other than having several hotels here, one of the other new trend that has popped up here, thanks to Booking.com and Airbnb, is the vacation homes. You know,
Yes.
so the numbers just keep growing and growing and growing. But one of the things that in the sustainability initiative that they've implemented is to manage that carbon footprint, is that they put something like a tourism dollar everybody has to pay. So all the hotels, all the vacation homes are supposed to report those numbers back, and there is a tourism dollar to offset that footprint that every visitor has to pay. So it's a
Yes.
small move. Okay, it's only 10 dirhams per tourist, which is about $2 to $3, depending on where you calculate it. And but it makes a difference. It's to offset that carbon footprint, and it also keeps us all in check. Every
Absolutely.
organization has to go back and report it, and that's the kind of frameworks that they are implementing, right? That yes, you are coming to our country, but we have to do something about it as well,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
there's big focus on water, because we have a massive desalination plant here, because we don't have natural tap water, like in Norway. But you could a lot of hotels have their own plants, recycling plants, and the bigger properties and all, they have their own recycling programs for plastics, for example, water refilling and all this. So water is a huge, huge, huge undertaking here.
Do the water refilling system from or for hotels, are there brands like Evian from France, or what are the water bottles you're selling in the
Yeah.
refilling system?
So we have those international brands, but we have our own local brands as well, because we have certain mountains here, okay, and we actually get natural water from there as well. Masafi, for example, it's a very popular brand here. So which makes us feel good that, okay, we are not consuming water that is coming from overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it's so interesting, and I can see it on your face that you are like very happy that you see and live in a place that is the center. It's a hub of the world,
Absolutely.
and it's so many your dreams can be fulfilled, and it's part of the future of humankind.
Yeah.
And so I can see that shine on you. So
Thank you.
yes, and I can see that Sadaf is also. We like to come and see you. I manifest ideas into projects. So I like, oh, can we make a business trip with people from?
We can do a sustainability group to
Yes,
come. You should have been here during COP now. And but
definitely. But then I was like, I was invited to have good consciousness of not flying. Uh, and by the way, I'm sitting here working together with my dear friend Sadaf, and having you on the screen, and it's a little bit we are actually living it. We are creating something. It's new. It's really new.
Yeah.
We're working with a team from Kenya. We're working with our the supporting and initiating team from London. David Coe and Riccardo Maslato is a Swedish Italian living in London, but they come from hedge funds manager, and they jumped off that job and wanted to find working on a book that, or they crafted a book out of the experience called The Unsustainable Truth in finance and investment. So they don't see how all those, if you really want to do something for the planet and the climate, we have to hold our horses somewhere. And that's what I'm saying. How can we really put a limit on oil, gas, and coal? And that is really the profound question that you have to, because you cannot still have the Norwegian oil rigs and then you take green electricity from land to power it, so it's green, but it's not green because they're still pumping oil. And this is the same with coal. We're still burning coal, and that is increasing as we speak. So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Inger, coming back to COP28 and our focused discussion on global perspective of tourism and sustainability and environment, wonderful discussion. Thanks, Sumaira, for sharing. I didn't even know that Ras Al Khaimah has that resort. Would love to visit it. It's been a while. I haven't been to Dubai myself. I think more than 12, 13 years now, just transiting in Dubai. But yeah, I'm happy to hear some positive news, what's happening in COP28. I think it's a brilliant idea. I hope and I dream, we were talking about with Inger and all my team, the youth, one day I hope COP29 is in Pakistan, but I don't know will that happen or not. But let's see how that goes. It's coming nearer to nearer. It happened in Egypt, now Dubai. Let's see how it goes. But
I know India is planning to bid for it. I've heard from the grapevine. So for the next
okay. I mean, I'm sure.
India is in 2030.
Yeah.
Okay.
So or a COP30, I'm not sure, but maybe we come to Norway. I will say it should come to Norway.
So Inger, you want to share some Norwegian?
Yes, I share
some really nice.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah. You see it. So this is the city of Oslo, having, what can I say? It is the. I think you can see it now, don't you?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it's part of the European city that is really talking about how to green the inner city and make it focus for children and people can walk and live. And it's not cities are not made for cars, but for people. And they planted the trees. It's called the Green City Map of Oslo. And it's a municipality of Oslo is doing it, and we're really looking at to engage. So they're promising 100,000 trees, but we already have 1 million trees in the city. So we have a map and on what's going on in Oslo when it comes to the green city. So that is quite good. And also, if you talk about coming to a study trip to learn about how to live more sustainable, how to be close to nature. Of course, it's nice to come to Copenhagen, the Viking city of the Nordic countries. It's really cool to come to up to where I live, to the fjords. This is my view. And so we have the high mountains, and if you go into that high mountains, you take the train to Oslo. So we can travel by train to Oslo, come all the way up to Molde. It's the roses and jazz. Now it's turning into a tourist presentation. But we have the longest stone staircase made by Sherpas from Nepal as a mountain hike. So you bring more people up to the high mountains. So this is you do very low tech. It means canoeing, and walking, and hiking, and Norway has a very high percentage of electrified cars and caravans. So you can really do nice things and to learn how to live close to nature. Let me stop there. I was probably browsing up and down a little bit too fast, but it is the city, Oslo as a green city. It could be also good for corporates to come. So it could be like a learning journey for a business journey from Dubai to Norway, or you can experience a different ecosystem like that. So it's this can be crafted, and we can make a package that we can sell to present for CSR and learning journeys, as they call them in
For sure.
corporates.
Thanks, Inga, for sharing the Norwegian perspective and how Norway is, achieving the sustainability regarding tourism. So, in the end, Samara, thank you so much for taking out your precious time. I know you're quite busy in person attending the COP, but thanks to take out time for our virtual COP. Very useful and knowledgeable for our viewers as well. So, your last comments about positive hope, takeaways from COP28. What is your, as I said, as a global, because when I do and organize such events, I always talk about cultural diplomacy, it's knowledge sharing. How can we bring in together? Because the environment challenges are huge. If you work in silos, I don't think what will happen to Earth in another 10, 15 years. So I am open, and Ingermet and a lot of people like us, we want to bring in that knowledge on one table. We want to do something for our countries. I, of course, with Pakistan, Inger coming from Norway, your expertise coming, sitting in Middle East, UAE. How can we bring in and work together to save our planet Earth when it comes to sustainable tourism projects? Yes, Somara.
So I think in conclusion, I just want to say that as we have seen, going green can benefit both environment and your bottom line. That's very important, okay, for organizations to understand. It can seem daunting initially, but if you start from the very basics, everything else will come along. And even switching to red light bulbs can make a huge difference. Small moves like that, every gesture counts, and it helps to improve our world. So another good practice is to spend on to digitalize your products and your company and your systems, and use a new AI approach. Whatever that can stop you or prevent you from wasting tons of paper, or just and yeah, use trains and to fly less and all of that. But I think just one comment I want to just make is that yes, we cannot do it alone. For me, what is always, and Sadaf, you know, that is that to take the best practices from developing countries, take it to the developing to the sorry, from the developed world to the developing countries, and but also listen to the developing countries, because they may have some ideas and that and practices that the developed world can also learn from, and because they've had to do it the hard way, because they've done some practices not because they it's fashionable, but because it was absolute necessity. It was a matter of survival for these countries. So yes, so we've got to stick it out together. That's the basic lesson in this. It's we have one world. It's everybody's home. We are in it together.
In it together.
Exactly. Thank you so much once again for joining an interesting discussion. I was really looking forward to it and hope to see you soon, Samara. I don't know where we'd meet, but
Sure.
take care and good luck, and keep us posted for the events that you're attending.
Please
we
come.
need, yes.
Visit us
Thank you for
there.
your time.
Okay.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. Let's put a little bit of music on. What do you think? Let's have a break. I'm not sure what this kind of music it is, but it's a good one. I like to, since we're still on the touristing stage, I like to present a friend of mine sent this concept note. So it's a touristical offer. Here it goes. For lifestyle in the Arctic. It's a retreat in Norway. It starts on the 5th, Sadaf. Fly in. It's real. It's not virtual. It's up on high up in the north. High up north in a pure lifestyle. It is really something. Up we have the wisdom tradition of the Sami, and it's a shamanic tradition. So you can see it's a little bit on the chakra. It's a spiritual retreat as well. The reindeer herding Sami, and they live up in the snow and ice cold. It's with yoga, mixing India and spirituality from other places. It's interesting. That's how the global culture is going. The Northern Lights. Their hosts. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, this is the Sami tradition, the indigenous that is traveling from Russia to Finland to Sweden to Norway. So that's the European indigenous tribe. It's kind of wellness and resort together with charging the batteries, as we say, in the busy world. Well, I'll still continue to play music and to respect your friends in Nairobi, Kenya. They are in Dubai, FM5, it's a idea.
Nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
Well, it's a good text. I like it so much. But you know, this to save the planet, it's a way, it's dignity first. It's to save and help each other as human beings. And that's why the logo of It's For You. It's for you, it's for me, it's for everyone on the planet. And to open up the conversations and to present the amazing stories that is actually happening on the ground. A lot of people have depression about climate change. They don't see the hope.
I mean, I don't take it like, you know, I take it like, because now that we're working, we travel, we talk about it. I'm now more focused on solutions and doing something rather than feeling depressed, you know. And with that, I'll just pray also the beautiful video for Pakistan, so that for viewers, which sharing, promoting Pakistan as well as the tourist destination.
Yes.
From Pakistan to Norway.
Thank you. It's really dry in your area. It's like a desert, some of your places, huh?
Yeah, this is Gwadar, where we did the Silk Road Summit.
Oh, yes.
Internet is a bit kind of, I don't know. Let's see where it plays. Trying. Anyways, it's a bit browsing. Let's see if it can play.
I'll tell you something. We had a very beautiful conversation with from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And the Sri Lanka story is so beautiful, and the tree planting of Rotary. And I know that we'll get back to it.
Yeah. So we are inviting them over. They've changed, by the way. So tomorrow, it's not on Sunday. They're happening. We have a very packed schedule tomorrow from Germany to Jamaica to Sri Lanka. It's all tomorrow.
But let me show the Sri Lanka, because this is, again, it's a tourist destination. And is this coming? We are having a technical glitch.
Okay, sorry. Now it was playing. My bad. It's okay, Inger. You can take it over.
All right, I'll try.
Basically, I survived the tsunami because I clung on to a tree.
We had a jam tree in front garden in my home in Koskoda.
During our school days, we had this common tree where each and every one of us flock around during our lunch break or even after school.
There was a tree right next to my swimming pool. The tree had a beehive.
Sri Lanka need to focus on marketing of its valuable assets to this entire world. One of them is the stronger agriculture heritage we have in Sri Lanka. I'm very certain that the Rotary 1 Million Trees project make this country the swap, the debt to carbon credits once 1 million trees are planted.
It's important that we stay sensitive to the environment. And for this, in Rotary, we have launched the 1 Million Trees project, where we not only plant and grow trees, but we maintain them.
I invite all of you to join me in making this 1 million trees project a reality.
Oh, it is nice. Really nice,
It's
isn't it?
beautiful. So we will be inviting the lady who is behind this whole project from Sri Lanka, and they've requested to be live on our show, Inga, for tomorrow. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's welcome tuning in from all the way from Karachi, who's the backbencher for this COP28 It's For You campaign. Hi, Mr. Jinnah. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? How are you girls?
We're doing brilliant.
We just got back from Dubai virtually. Now we might fly off to Zimbabwe.
I'm still in the way.
No, it's I always say that you are the inspiration and the reason that I'm here with Sadaf, because we had over 300 Fridays for Pakistan, from Norway to Pakistan during COVID, and we talked about World Climate School, and at the time I also talked about footballs, of course, and circular economy. And you thought I was speaking like a crazy person from the moon at the time, but now you're much better and much more advanced than me, and all the high tech you've been learning through the SDG Academy, and cybersecurity, and the Chat GPT, and I did ITOI and IoT, and you are a specialist in Karachi and Islamabad.
The good thing is, you say, we are your inspiration, and I say you are my inspiration, so it's everybody's inspiration for each other. That's something very, very good.
Yeah, it is. But we have to define this project.
Coming back to
Norway.
Jinnah Saab, what's your take on COP28? Are you following the news? Share some news with us.
Yes, it's good. At least we have the Pakistan got $100,000. So that's one thing is good, and I think this time our presence is good, and all the government officials there, even the Prime Minister was there. So I think the total outcome will be good. Of course, the few more days, the 4 days left. So after once this thing is over, then we'll get a good report.
Did you say $100,000 million? Only $100,000.
Well, I've got just one report. Maybe more, but something is better than nothing.
Oh, that's true.
At least something is happening.
Jinasa, I will not comment on that. I will talk to you off the record about this money coming into Pakistan.
But let us tell you something. I have some news, and let us talk about trees again. Let us talk about trees. From World Climate School's perspective, a tree can be your teacher. You can learn a lot of things from a tree. And one of the news from Dubai was that the American initiative, the inner city planting strategy they have, because they have done the mapping throughout the whole United States, and they know that where poor people live, Afro-American communities live, they don't have trees in the inner cities. So they're putting a full-scale strategy to make plant trees in cities, because it reduces the heat if you have trees in the inner city. So it's a heat protection, and it's a way to cool down the cities. And this cooling down treaties is also very important from Dubai. It means like when the temperatures are so hot, you will get more air condition, and it's more electricity. The electricity bills goes up when you need it the most. So to really see how we can do the cooling, cool people will cool the planet. How to cool it, and it's by planting trees. So, but there's important news. We have to plant trees in Pakistan. I trust
exactly.
Plant trees.
Okay, we'll be tuning in to Zimbabwe. Our guest is here. So I'm going to play Jinasa. Our next session is going to start. So for the viewers, we had a wonderful discussion all the way from Dubai. Sumera Isaac joined us. She was sharing the global perspective on tourism, what's happening in COP28 Dubai. So our second session of the day has started. Will be a guest from Zimbabwe has joined us. I'm just going to share his introduction, and I'm going to play a beautiful video for Zimbabwe, and then let's take the discussion. So he's Dominic. He's the executive director for Purpose Science Global. He's a multi-award-winning climate change advocate, driving disability, inclusive travel, tourism, and climate change across Africa. He's also won the UNWTO scholarship and founder of UNITU award-winning company Purpose Science Global. That's quite impressive, Inger. I'm excited to hear the Zimbabwe story today.
Yes, look forward to it. So let's welcome him. So what is the video that you're going to present to him? Because I like to do the introduction video as well,
Inger, you can play the intro video.
Yeah, he's not here, but
he's coming in and out. He's going to join again, but you can play the intro video. He was here.
Yes, I'll show it. So let us go to Dubai. It is for you. We welcome the next guest.
Thank you, Inger, for playing this beautiful intro video. I really like it.
Yes.
Hello,
So
Dominic. How are you? Thanks for joining our live session for COP28 all the way from Zimbabwe. Can you hear us?
it's a little bit quiet. The line is not that good.
Let's see. Dominic, can you hear us?
But you know, my work in Zimbabwe has been going on for many, many years. So I've been working, as you know, we have been having live directly from Zimbabwe to Pakistan and to Norway, and my family is also there. My daughter is Zimbabwean, and you know, it's close and dear to my heart. The green heart of Africa, like Zimbabwe. It used to be the breadbasket for the African continent in Southern Africa, but of course, you know, the political instability made it the farming crash, and of course, it was. Only big white farms, very, very big. So it was a real land adjustment, or what can I say? They took it away from the white farmers by Mugabe, and it was very disruptive and violent. But I do have a presentation about what's going on in Zimbabwe, and I prepared it.
Yeah, he's connecting again. Just give him some time. You know, technical glitch. We are connecting all around the globe. In the meantime, I'll share some videos. Okay, you want to share? Or I have also some backup video for Zimbabwe. So
yeah, but I'll share the Go Green Zimbabwe story, and
okay, great.
And we started this some time ago.
Have you been wondering, is it possible to go green? Can I really do agriculture, horticulture, without the use of chemicals? Because we're used to using most of these chemicals, buying from the shops. It is possible. I'm here today to speak to Mr. Cole, pertaining the wonderful work that he is doing. He uses manure from chicken. He does not use any chemical to deal with pests.
True, that's true.
All he's doing is using the resources that he has.
Yeah, true.
It is plot.
That's true.
My name is Haig from 2CCN. Mr. Cole.
You're most welcome, Mr. Haig.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for your visit.
I'm glad that you invited us.
Surely. I hope we are going to enjoy you.
We can continue with the video, but let me keep the line open to Dominic, so we have him on stage, Sadaf. So this was a video from Zimbabwe that we produced in a couple of years back, and with farmers on the ground in Zimbabwe. So welcome on stage.
Let's first see. Yeah, can we hear him well? Dominic, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for organizing, Sadaf. Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
We are good, and thank you so much for joining and taking the interest that you wanted to be part of the COP28. So let's hear your story. Your profile is amazing. You shared your profile. You've been a winning climate advocate. So what's your thoughts on COP28? And what are you exactly doing in Zimbabwe before we want to take advantage of your good internet connection now? Over to you, Dominic. Let's hear your story.
Yes, excellent. All right, excellent. So yeah, I'm Dominic Tapuma. Like you've seen in my profile, I'm a United Nations World Tourism Organization scholarship recipient for becoming one of the top 5 innovators in Africa at the Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit and Awards, which happened in 2021. It was organized by the South Africa Tourism Authority, there's Africa Tourism Partners, and BDO and some other partners who are part of that program. So the work that I've been mainly doing in the tourism space, especially from Zimbabwe, is I'm advocating for the inclusion of persons with disabilities within the space of travel, tourism, and climate change. So doing work around that space, all programs are geared towards improving accessibility and interest of the uptake of tourism products, climate change programs, as well as hospitality initiatives among persons with disabilities and vulnerable groups in general. In Zimbabwe, from a Zimbabwean perspective, for example, the majority of travel is done by the male versus the females. There's a disproportionate amount of tourism enjoyment based on gender in general. So our focus at Purple Science Global is bridging that gap between the vulnerable groups, who are largely women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Okay, so with that context in place, we came up, we realized with concern that most programs are not disability sensitive. For example, COP28 may be happening right now, but for someone who's tone deaf, who's never used any language at all, they're kind of being sidelined because, for one, sign language is not universal. Okay, they're dialects, just like there is English, French, German, Portuguese, etc. It's so much so that when there's a Miss Deaf World, when the Miss Deaf World contestants meet up, they don't understand each other. So these are some of the things that have not been addressed in terms of creating programming that's kind of inclusive, largely because persons with disabilities were not included at the table of creating these policies and changes in general. Okay, but the good thing is that's changing because of programs like yourselves. Even you're introducing platforms and presenting opportunities for change within the tourism space. Because at the end of the day, sustainable is about today, and it's also about tomorrow. We want to change what's happening today, and we want to make today effective so that it can affect tomorrow in a better way. Okay, so from Zimbabwe, what happened is most of the tourism is generally eco-friendly tourism. That's one interesting bit about Zimbabwe. Most sites are natural sites, and they are viewed and admired as they are. Okay, so this is different, for example, from the first world in general. Tourist sites are built up sites. For example, the Eiffel Tower is a built tower. Space had to be created for it to exist. New York, there's the Statue of Liberty. It had to be put at some space there. There could have been marine life where it's sitting, but there is not, for example. These are just simple examples that the African context of tourism is kind of different from the global one in general, which is also similar to the way that Africa is being affected by climate change, although it's not the one largely producing greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so from that perspective, I guess maybe you can jump in while I just put up a few notes here, which I wanted to present as well. Yeah.
Dominic, I have been in fact studying democracy at the University of Harare in Zimbabwe.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I know quite well Harare. I know Matopos. I know the halfways all the way to Victoria Falls. I know Binga.
Excellent.
I know the country a bit, but not.
Excellent.
So when you have the Purple Science Global, so tell me more in depth what you are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So with Purple Science Global, we started when COVID-19 hit. We initiated what would become the first, and we will be doing it in 2024. The first Africa Travel, Tourism, and Disability Expo and Awards. So what we want to do is we want to celebrate tourism and hospitality players across the globe who are bringing incentives for the growth of tourism to be accessible for destination Africa in particular. Okay, so that's an awards program that includes the whole value chain of tourism, or taking into account the whole value chain from the accommodation side, the travel, the tourism, the financials, including uptake of business products as both a supplier for suppliers, buyers, as well as those who engage in the consuming of these products. Okay, so the award categories go across multiple parts of what tourism is all about. So that's something that I can always share with the team after this. I don't want it to be, like you said, it's more of a highlight of what's going on versus going in depth, right? So that's one of the things that we're doing. And then we've also partnered with institutes of public health, because our focus really, how we began was came up with an innovation that allows live translation of sign languages from speech to text and audio, which won a United Nations International Telecommunication Union award for innovations with high social impact. So having done that, that's kind of exposed Purple Science Global to the global market in terms of what's possible in terms of innovation around products that can actually affect industry and trade. So one of our key features at Purple Science Global is making all programming disability accessible. Okay, so we do accessibility audits for tourist destinations, and then we give a breakdown of what's possible in terms of being more inclusive in each space. So I'll give you an example. I'm also part of the Pan-African Heritage Digital Museum, which is being the physical. Yes, it's the Pan-African Heritage Digital Museum. It's being built in Ghana, so there's a digital version. But like you can see already, if something is digital and it's visual, it's already excluding someone here with visual impairment. So these are some of the things that we have recognized, that there is a market, a profitable market for the disabled and the vulnerable in general, but we need to take advantage of it. For example, there's at least a billion plus. I like the way that the programming is a billion plus voices, right? But in the disability space alone, there's already a billion plus voices. So that just shows you the economic impact that being more inclusive could have for the tourism industry in general. So in terms of some of the other programs that we're doing, including persons with disabilities and disability-oriented in programs which have an effect on the environment, on climate change programs, and making them understand where it is that they can actually come and participate, not just as tourists, but as business owners as well. So we do incubation programs. We are partnered with the universities, a few universities in Zimbabwe now. We do incubation programs for entrepreneurship to teach these vulnerable groups, the persons with disabilities, young women and youth, skills on how to build a business from start to finish. And we'll be starting a venture capital firm as of January 2024 to fund projects and products that could have an impact on both the local economy for those who create those products, as well as present them with opportunities to trade them across Africa. Because Africa is now opened up with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So we want to take advantage of the cross-pollination of ideas between nations across Africa as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Back to COP, and thank you so much for your describing what you do. It's amazing work. But back to COP28. I read in the news that it was COP28 was criticized because there was too many delegates from some African countries. But then again, the legacy of COP28, it will be a win for African continent and the youth of Africa.
Yes.
And I even think that Zimbabwe will get funding for many projects. Do you have any?
Correct.
All of the news from COP28? Do you have updates?
Oh, yes.
From being back home, but
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I've managed to definitely. I've been getting updates as well. For example, the fact that in general there is no country right now that's actually going to meet those global gas emission targets that we set as the world, right? There is no country that's actually on target, and this for the youth. Africa is largely a youth population in general. It's a very young continent. Majority of the continent, 60+% is between the ages of 18 and 40, right? That's a very young continent. So one thing about the youth is they love traveling, they love exploring, and they want to be part of what's happening now. They will always want to be part of what's trending. And COP28 is trending right now. That's why you see a lot of, yes, exactly. That's why you see the interest in traveling and making sure we're there as youth to become part of those conversations. Because we've now seen that when we're not part of the conversation, we cannot complain about the outcome. Because we would not have, whether it's deliberate or it's circumstantial, we would not have participated in our own future. So the criticism that there's a lot of African countries pitching up, to us, it's actually because of that youth background of Africa. We do want to take hold of our future. We want to be in control. We want to know that, you know what, 15 years from now, there's Vision 2030 already. How close are we to those targets? What can I do in my local community to make this possible? If I cannot do it, maybe I should be traveling to Europe. Maybe I should be in Spain right now, advocating for the Spanish government to change some sort of part of their global emissions industrial uptake of whatever it is they're doing. So we want to be part of these conversations. We've now become global citizens thanks to the digital age. For example, right now I'm in Zimbabwe, but I'm able to participate from where I am. It's but being physical, it always has that advantage. As much as we've gone digital, connections are best in person. So we encourage in-person connections. Yeah.
I think
sorry, Inger, I was just listening to your story very carefully, Dominic, and that's the reason that we're giving this platform. We still have like 12 to 12. Do tell your friends. It's an open platform. It's a symphony of billion voices. We're not even charging you guys. We're bringing everyone together, and we'll play the intro video again for you. You had some technical issues, and we're flying into Dubai virtually. We want this campaign, COP28, we're saying it's for me, it's for you, it's for everyone. And hearing your stories from across the globe, me and Inger, we are running these live sessions every day, inviting people, sharing your story. And we want to share positive story. We all know climate change is there. I know about Harare. One of my friends used to be posted there when there was a lot of conflict going on. I haven't been to Zimbabwe myself, but it's like every region has its own climate changes, but people like you are the future. You are doing wonders. You are contributing to climate change. Your friends who have gone to COP28, they will bring in something back home with knowledge, and you guys are going to save your environmental challenges which are having in Zimbabwe, and you're doing beautiful job. The disability concept, which I heard, was just touched my heart, Inger. I haven't heard this discussion so far. We're running this campaign consecutively. It's the 8th day, Dominic, and your story is beautiful. Would like to connect with you again after the 12 days are over. And so yes, over to you, Inger.
Excellent.
It's yes. Thank you, Sadaf, for the kind words, and also Dominic. It's amazing, and as Sadaf is saying, you're welcome to come back, even at the closing session or with a stronger voice, and bring friends along from Zimbabwe.
We have a closing we have closing Climate Hero Awards that I came up with, and I really want to share with the viewers. People like you who are contributing to climate change. We'll be awarding you for your efforts virtually. You will get the award, you will get the certificate as a token of appreciation from our campaign. So do join us on 12th December, Pakistan time, 9 p.m. and GMT 4 p.m. Yes, over to you.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I like to say that there is this race to zero footprint. I think we should turn I think we should turn the list upside down. So we should put Zimbabwe, that is always at the end of the alphabet, on the top, and make it
yes, correct.
For this COP28 because the countries that are polluting the zero, like in poverty,
yes,
landlocked countries like Zimbabwe. There is some landlocked countries that is not having the big ships, and they have to export things to a third country, and that's the reason why they're not polluting so much with plastic, because they have to go to Maputo or South Africa, or I don't know what harbor that is used. No, they don't have the harbor. So Nepal, and also up high in the Himalayas, high up in Megalayas, landlocked countries are suffering. They have not been part of the quality, the trade, polluting trade for the last 30 years. So that's why it's poor. A country that is landlocked is very often poor, but they have wisdom and indigenous spirit of being human that is preserved. And Zimbabwe is one of them. So I'll vote for Zimbabwe at the top for the prize.
Thank you. And
so
you know what? I
have a surprise video for Dominic, which I want to play if you allow me. So for the viewers, it's become interesting. Otherwise, it just get boring. They're listening to our talk. Just
it's
a
2
minutes
video. It's a Zoom talk radio show.
It's a beautiful talk. Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Of the birds early in the morning as the sun rises.
Wow.
It's the people you meet and the smiles, no matter where you go. Our rich history, culture, and heritage. Our vibrant art, music, and creativity. Our mighty rivers. Cascading waterfalls. And enormous lakes. It's our pristine wildlife and nature, still so wild and untamed. From the rolling mystical mountains and dense forests of the Eastern Highlands, down to the breathtaking beauty of the Lowveld and the vast floodplains of the Zambezi Valley, across to the balancing rocks of the Matopos. Animals still wild and roaming free. It's the feeling of inner peace and relaxation. It's the rush you get from the endless adventure opportunities. It's the true beauty of a Zimbabwean sunset. It's the memories that will last forever. Zimbabwe is a feeling. Zimbabwe is a world of wonders.
It's nice.
Oh, excellent.
Pakistanis
Oh, thank you for that.
to come to Zimbabwe, Sadat. You should.
Excellent. Yeah.
Zimbabwe is a feeling.
Zimbabwe, you call it Zimbabwe, I call it home. Home is a feeling. That's the beauty of it. I'm sure even from Pakistan you feel it, that home is a feeling. When you, no matter where you go in the world, when you think home, it's the feeling that comes first. Just say home to someone, and the feeling that comes with it has to do with the culture. It has to do with the place where they grew up, what they know, what they didn't know, what they thought they knew, but they now know. It's a whole complex but simple way of saying it. That Zimbabwe is a feeling. It's universal to every country. Yeah.
So coming back to Zimbabwe, Dominic, tell me about the current challenges for climate change. I know there's water problem, plastic pollution is everywhere, droughts. What are the health problems? What are the exact challenges you're facing for our viewers, and what can be done? Your global voice, what are you demanding? The people are listening. Talk about the challenges and what you want the global world to come to Zimbabwe to help you guys.
All right. So I'll take this up in two bits. First, I'll break down the Zimbabwean population in general, how it's broken down, so you get context of how it affects the people in general, right? So about 70% plus of the Zimbabwean population is rural. That means only about 30% is what it's urban plus, right? So what this means is that whatever is happening around climate change, and one thing for sure, Zimbabwe is agro-based. It's an agro-based economy. Most of its GDP is based on agriculture, tourism, and tourism is, in a sense, mixing up with the agriculture side. Okay, so what happens to the Zimbabwean situation is this. Climate change has caused an effect that's actually happening right now. Zimbabwe is experiencing what's called the El Nino effect. So we'll be having a dry season for the next at least a year or a year to 2 years. That means really it's a drought season. Automatically, that shows you if we have an agro-based economy and 70% of the population is rural, which means they are dependent on agriculture for their basic upkeep. Just they grow their food, they use it for their home use. Extra surplus, they sell it off to be able to send their children to school, etc. So when there is an effect like El Nino and you do not have that base of your agricultural output at the end of a harvest, that means during this agricultural season or at the end of it, 70% plus of the Zimbabwean population will not have access to a sustainable source of food or income from the food which they are used to having. Okay, so that already presents a huge problem. So that means we're getting into a season or a period where Zimbabwe will be needing a lot of food aid. There's going to be a need for a lot of aid in general to assist the majority of the population to survive this effect. Okay, the heat right now in Zimbabwe is such that it's causing health problems for sure in children. Most of the population, because it's rural based, does not have access to services like air conditioning. They do not have fans. They do not have most of what makes you able to change your climate within the house. For example, you can change your temperature by just adjusting it to your air conditioning settings, right? But this is something that someone in the rural areas does not at all have access to. The school children need to get to school. The distances that they have to walk to get to school, minimum 5 kilometers one way. Okay, as much as 20 for some kids, which is really, if you really think of that, this is a child who's going to school. They do not have any break. They barely ate any breakfast because of the situation of the whole climate affecting the food sources within the house. But they're walking such a distance to get to school. School dropout rates will increase for sure, because school should not be so painful to get to. Why would I want to go to school if I'm walking 20 kilometers to get to a school? Then after I walk that 20 kilometers, I'm getting to school late, that's for sure. There's no way I'm getting there on time. I'm probably going to be scolded by my teacher. I will just have an attitude towards school that's not towards thinking that it's something that I can pursue and feel better about. So if you look at it from that individual perspective and then you blow it across the whole country, you will then have an effect where the general population of Zimbabwe is angry about climate change and its effect on its population based on things that they had nothing to do with. The 70% is not industrialized. That means they're viewing climate change as something that's coming from a foreign source. Okay, so that automatically kind of gives you a perspective of how a Zimbabwean from a rural setting, which is what the majority of the population is, would feel about climate change. Okay, and then when it comes to discussions like COP28, I bet you right now, Sadaf, like you said, you have friends in Zimbabwe. I bet you right now, if you did a random survey, you asked for maybe the top 10 most rural places in Zimbabwe, and you sent out some people and you asked them to talk about COP28, they would have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, because it's not even part of the conversation. No one in the area is talking about it like that. Access to digital technologies is limited because for sure there's no electricity, sources of electricity, network challenges as well. So if you see drilling down, what the individual is experiencing is terrible, but they do not have a voice to voice it out with, which they feel will listen to them. Okay, because for sure they know that the source of this problem is not internal. It's not from their environment. They are still just going to a well to fetch water. They are still just growing their crops, but they're noticing that this year there's a complete drought. I cannot even grow anything. The rains are not coming. They are praying about it. It's a very religious country, so they'll use prayers, they'll use all these things. But the physical nature and the science behind climate change goes back to the fact that unless we reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the industrialized perspective of the countries that are at the forefront of industrialization, the effects on those who have very little global gas emission footprint is really it's really that bad, because the vulnerability is increased by the lack of access to the technologies or resources that can keep you safe. For example, if you know that there's a storm coming, you can easily drive away from it. But a few years back, there was Cyclone Idai. It came through to Zimbabwe, Mozambique. It washed away villages. People were sleeping at night. Suddenly, their houses were flooded. Thousands of people died overnight. So this is just part of what shows you that the lack of access to what the industrialized world has privileged to have is also causing challenges to the person on the ground who, even if there is something that's about to affect them, they have no idea about. I like even when you were asking, Dominique, do you have anything about COP28 that you've heard? And I could give a conversation that's relevant to the current conversation around COP28. But had I, for example, been in a rural setting where the network would not even have been available, this just shows you how I would be so distant from current talk about creating solutions for the challenges that we are facing. But as we are, as Zimbabweans, we stay positive, we're vibrant, we want to see change. We do it by participating, like I'm participating right now. Yes, I may know that, you know what, I remember Sadaf in the morning, I was telling you, I wanted to do an actual presentation, but I couldn't because of the power challenge. These are some things that I'm having hurdles off, but I overcome still because the situation may be tough, but I believe we're tougher. We can create solutions around the problems that we face. We can be positive no matter what we're facing. And as we connect with like-minded people like your team, Sadaf and Inga, we are creating change, one voice at a time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Inger, now.
No, the story is touching, and you know, this campaign we started out at the African Climate Summit in Nairobi, but for 90 days ago, early September, and we are connected throughout the African continent in many ways. But what you are saying now is actually an emergency crisis on due to El Nino, and that's going to hit.
Yes, El Nino, yes.
So we actually should voice that concern now as part of COP, as a serious note. It should be a serious article. It should be a serious announcement from our community if that is really happening. Because you know, Sadaf was showing the beauty of Zimbabwe with all the animals, all the birds flying, the fish, eagle.
Yes, correct.
And I'm sure that all humanity would be saddened if they knew that the zebras, the elephant, the rhinos, and the giraffe and the lions will die off of Africa.
They will.
You know,
they will, because it's
yeah. So it's like a tears in the eyes. I'd like to have the poorest people looking after that disaster, and there is no water to feed your children even, and then you think you're going to feed the lion, but you know the lion will eat you if you go outside, you know.
Correct.
Yeah, but the lions are hungry as well, and the elephants are hungry, so they will eat the crop. If there's any greenery, the elephants will take it over a night. If you're a farmer, for example.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I don't know. I'm feeling very small to this global task. I don't know what to do, but one voice, as you said, we can voice it. Together we can voice the emergency. And I'm seeing that backstage we have David M from Kenya, and it's the same thing. They had the drought was the drought, no rain.
Yes.
So and then when the rain comes, it's a flood, and it's too much, you know. So it's like, what do you say, Sadaf, with all your optimistic way of being? What can we do, Sadaf? What can humankind, kindness, do?
Well, I would like to add, first of all, Dominic, I think you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up. I support you. Being the, Inger has brought me back into working on sustainable development goals. I had taken a break from it for the last 3 years. I myself come from the tourism and hospitality industry from Pakistan.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. So, advice to Zimbabwe into what you are doing in our capacity, because it's not physically possible for people like me who are passionate to save the planet Earth, or Inger, who's doing so much in different countries. But digital innovation, technology is the future. We are doing this whole conference online. We can get connected. You can help us out. We should not wait for funding or these big organizations coming into Zimbabwe. In our capacity, Dominic, you can reach out to me and Inger and our rest of the team for It's For You. Richard, David Coe, the African team, their huge network, EDCN, will get you connected. If you want virtual training workshops on youth empowerment, enhancing them with digital skills, how to combat climate change when it comes to water scarcity. My interest is I always want to raise the voice of rural communities, your indigenous communities who don't have a voice. We want from you, from people like you, to join us and join this campaign. So that will be great. And we're there, a symphony of billion voices, how we can help you. I think that's the way forward for 2024 resolution, Dominic. Stay connected and let's make Zimbabwe a better place. And yes, so we have live tuning in Raj, I see, from COP28. Hi, Raj, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm here in
Hi, Raj, how are you?
the blue zone in COP28. Hi, how are you?
So we're having a live
It's good to see
session
you
from
all.
Thank
Zimbabwe, Pakistan, Dubai, and Oslo.
Excellent.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you all here together.
Thank you, Raj. I can see you are shining bright in Dubai. But you know, we've been having a serious conversation that the rains are not going to come in Southern Africa. There's a drought. People will be hungry. Animals will die off. and it's a red crisis. It's like emergency in many ways in Southern Africa and other places as
It's
well.
called, yes, it's called the El Nino effect. So it's sweeping across, it's literally sweeping across Southern Africa right now. Right now, the temperatures are getting to 40 plus degrees. We're used to 31, 32. So an 8-degree differential, you can just imagine. So it's really just going to be a dry season, drought, because this region is largely agro-based and 70% plus of the populations are general rural. That's a real emergency, like Inge was saying.
So we'd like you to voice this in Dubai, the emergency that is coming up in Southern Africa. And right now we're talking about how we can, with our small effort we can do to start fundraising and to react to this emergency. The voices are coming into our platform, and we say it's for all of us. It is for you. It's for me. And we don't want the animals of the African continent to die off, and people are hungry as well, and children is not able to go to school.
Yeah, without a doubt, the climate emergency is having great impacts across the world. Even my region in the Eastern Himalayas was affected by a lot of extreme weather events this year. We have heard of what has happened in India, across Africa, and the focus really here has been on the human impacts. While negotiators, the government officials, and ministers actually focus on trying to find the correct text to go with the declarations. And at the end of the first week, we did not have a agreed text on the common goal on adaptation. We did not have agreed text on the global stocktake, and we are not going anywhere on climate finance, despite the great beginning with the operationalization of the loss and damage fund on the first day. So we are entering the second week here from today, and the ministers are arriving, and we'll have ministerial talks going on here, and hopefully there will be new impetus to the negotiations. But frankly, people are not valuing the ecosystems, the biodiversity, the loss of human lives that we all in the global south are feeling. That is, I feel, sadly, far away from the negotiation table, far away from the minds of the people who are actually deciding the future of humanity.
Raj, I have a question for you. Since Dominic is all the way from Zimbabwe, we were talking about the challenges for African region. Have you come or interacted? What the African region, what their political leaders were representing? What are the strategies for climate change projects? Anything on African front?
There are a huge number of representatives, including government, civil society, as well as, of course, the negotiators here. Many of my friends from Africa are here as well. And without a doubt, everybody is speaking together in one voice about the human impacts, the impacts on ecosystems, the biodiversity loss, and what it means for future water security, what it means for future food security, and the 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 urgency that we do not see in the negotiations is being reflected by all of civil society. Right now, I was at an action and where we had climate justice activists marching through one area, and this has been happening every day. A lot of people from Africa, a lot of youth representatives, a lot of women representatives from across Africa are here, and they are collectively raise the voice against what is happening and what needs to be done. The urgency that is missing in the conversation is thankfully present in civil society expressions, and it is echoing through the halls and pavilions here in Dubai.
Wow, that's good news that there is an echo of a billion voices that is concerned about what's happening and how we can take action and using our collective voices and to give hope to each other. I'm sure that Dominic, you can take a lead, Dominic, on what you like to share to Raj, because he's a friend of Sadaf and myself from the work of World Climate
Excellent.
School and from COP26 and COP27. So take the stage, Dominic, and use the opportunity to give a message to Raj, who is Riturai, who is in COP.
All right, excellent. Yeah, Mr. Raj, thank you for connecting. Well, what I would like to say to you is, even as you move around, the way that you're wearing your shades is because you don't want the sun to get into your eyes, right? I like that because I want to use this as an example. I want you to know to take note. As Africa, we know that the future is so bright that we can literally wear shades everywhere we go, because we understand that the future is bright. But it's up to every individual to become part of these voices. The effect of one voice is unbelievable, because one voice, when it connects to another, becomes a duet. When it becomes 3, 4, 5, a symphony. The next thing, we've got a whole choir, and we've got a rhythm, a whole genre of change, because that's what we want to create here, a genre of change, of positivity, of knowing, you know what, yes, there are challenges which are happening today because of things that happened 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years back. But we are the future, so we can create a new path for future generations. And as much as tourism, like more than 90% of greenhouse emissions in general are due to transport challenges. So we're positive when we see the TSAs of the world creating a change in the transport, the way transport is changing towards less greenhouse emissions. We're positive in the shipping industry when we see cruise lines, for example, introducing LNG gas powered cruise lines. These are positive changes. And from your perspective, for sure, the future is bright. And one thing I like about this whole conversation is we came from an understanding that we do want to help vulnerable groups. But one thing for sure, Africa does have a lot of those. So let's take it into context. Yeah.
Yeah, and also Dominic, use the opportunity to share the Purple Sign Global and the initiative you do in Zimbabwe, because that is also
yes. Mm-hmm. Excellent. So we are. I'm the founder of Purple Science Global. It now has a United Nations World Tourism Organization scholarship. It became one of the top 5 innovators in Africa, promoting Destination Africa in 2021. We've also got a United Nations International Telecommunications Union Award for creating ICT solutions with high social impact within the disability space. But intellectual property that's registered, and we've now been invited by the International Telecommunications Union to be part of the AI for Good program. So we are actually one of the first few companies in Africa that's been officially invited to become part of that. So what we're doing is we're starting from a grassroots level to involve vulnerable groups, which are persons with disabilities, young women and youth, to become part of the conversation of climate change and to present solutions that can then become viable moving forward. We want to let the world know that the child who's in the rural areas, who has no access to electricity, water right now, who has never heard of the internet, who's never used a mobile phone, who may not drive a car for their whole life, is being affected by climate change. They want to see that change is being done. And part of that is just going to where they are and taking their stories and bringing out those voices to the world. And thank you, Raj, Inga, and Sadaf for being part of the teams that are creating these platforms. And then we have the Africa Travel, Tourism, and Disability Expo and Awards, which we have started. We're going to be doing it in 2024. We'll be celebrating the best in the travel tourism value chain in terms of promoting disability inclusive access to travel, tourism, markets, and product services from both a tourist and business perspective. So that's part of the work that we're doing. Thank you.
Over to you, Raj.
Good to hear about all the initiatives. One of the focus areas here has been on collaborations and partnerships. It is vital that civil society groups, companies, entrepreneurships that are working in the climate space on climate finance and climate action innovation across the world collaborate and share best practices. I have myself started this venture called the Smiley Academy. I'm a co-founder along with two indigenous youth from Italy and from Assam, and a fellow climate reality leader from Italy, as well as the Forest Man of India, Mr. Jada Payang. And Smiley stands for Sustainable Mindsets and Inner Level for Youth. And following the recommendations of the Global Biodiversity Framework and the Paris Agreement, we are actually helping the youth to develop this inner level consciousness and sustainable mindsets and become entrepreneurs that actually a model that develop a model that learns from indigenous communities, from traditional knowledge systems, and replicate them in a global level to make it sustainable business entrepreneurship models. And we are doing this first 1 week camp in Assam from March 20 to 26 in 2024, and then we are coming to Ghana. So we are going to take them, these urban youth from around Europe and across the world, to these places of iconic indigenous people, biodiversity and history, so that they can learn hands-on from the ground and develop this entrepreneurship model that will make a difference in the world, and it will be quickly replicated. So that is something that we are doing as well, and we are going to be collaborating with a lot of agencies across Africa as well. Just a few days back, we had this interview with the Ghana National Television. So yeah, we are also trying to follow the model of inclusivity, including with collaboration from grassroots organizations around the world.
It's beautiful, Riturai. And before you, I know you're walking and you're heading for your next meeting, Riturai. But what is Al Gore saying in the circles of Dubai?
That's a great.
What is his message?
That's a fantastic question. That's a great question because. As we see, there have been a lot of declarations around different agreements, and everybody tends to get distracted from the actual problem, which is fossil fuels. As long as we continue to add fossil fuels to the atmosphere, the Earth will continue to warm. And nobody's talking about phasing out of fossil fuels, and that is what Mr. Gore actually focused on. He called it out loud and clear on the stage, in the plenary halls, and in our meetings. And all of us are wearing this "Not a Fossil Fuel Lobbyist" this badge that is provided by the Climate Reality Project of Mr. Al Gore. And yeah, this is there is a definite push. I think about 80 countries, including the European Union, is spearheading this movement to get on an agreement to phase out fossil fuels from on the agenda of this COP. So by the end of the COP, hopefully we'll have an agreement that will be globally towards phasing out fossil fuels.
Riturai, we'd like to have you and Al Gore back on our platform. And by the way, we have been creating a musical track that you will love, and also Al Gore will love it. And we're going to play it as well. But ask a question, Sadaf, while I'm trying to find don't leave it to Raj before we need to.
Before Raj, I know you're quite busy multitasking, but thank you so much for the viewers tuning in all the way from COP28 in Dubai. My question to you is, can you hear me?
Sorry, I lost your voice. Okay, I can hear some music now.
Yeah, but listen to the text.
To unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world.
It will be great if we could
a limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This Equality is all we got. So we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah. Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you dreaming of a day when we shall heal the
I like it. I love it. I'm going to listen to this later, maybe, because I need to walk to the next venue. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I love to hear the complete song, but yeah, from the lyrics I heard, it's exactly what the world needs to hear. Lovely music and love. Yes, I'm looking forward for you to share the recording and maybe create a post online so that I can also share about the wonderful work, the wonderful conversations we have had today, live from here in.
Yes, he's probably getting out of the Wi-Fi zone now. It's having a glitch from Dubai. So this is Raj, working with the World Climate School all the way from India, working with Al Gore. He's on important message to the world. I think you're off, Raj, but we'll wait for you to come back. Wow, it was intense, wasn't it, Dominic?
It was beautiful because what I like about it, like your theme, a billion voices. These are the billion voices. When we connect, what I like is when I connect with Pakistan, I'm literally connecting with the whole population. When I connect with Dubai right now, I'm literally connecting with the whole population. You now have had a story of Zimbabwe that you may not have been aware of. You've already connected with 15 million plus people in a way. So it's very positive. As much as we have the modern Africa, there is a rural Africa that we need to pay attention to. The effects of climate change on those individuals is at an emergency level. It's not just something you can ignore. So yeah, thank you for inviting Sadaf. Thank you, Inga, for your time. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dom. Yes, Inger, your closing remarks, and then I will.
Well, it's when we have a dream and an idea, it's always the follow-up. So let's follow up, Dominic, with you. And if you have time, we'd like to welcome you back to the stage. Now you know that this is also your stage, and we are together on this like a family. It is for you, and it's for everyone in Zimbabwe. It's for all the animals. It's for all the rural people, and that's what we're voicing. The voice of the voiceless.
Exactly.
We're creating that stage without flying to Dubai. So that's how we join our hands and our efforts and the billion voices. Over to you, Sadaf, for you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this whole session on Zimbabwe. It's been more than an hour, Inger, and I didn't even know it's an hour. The session is coming. Thank you so much, Dominic, for
Dominic. Look at the closing video, Dominic. Don't leave us. Just let me play the video.
And
all right, one last word. One last word from myself before I go here. Zimbabwe is a feeling. If you feel like coming to Zimbabwe, know that you have the best people just taking care of you guys, and we'll definitely let's connect outside of this. And thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to what we can create post this today. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll play the video so you get the feeling of flying. So your idea is flying.
Excellent. Thank you.
So it is for you. Thank you for being here with us, Dominic.
Excellent. Thank you both. Have a good one, and yeah, I can't wait for the days to come, the weeks, the months, the decades, and we see how this changed the way we did things. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dominic. So stay tuned. Book the calendar, 12th December, GMT, 4 p.m. for the Global Climate Hero Award ceremony. I'll share the details and invite your friends. They can join us. It's an open discussion. We still have me and Inger. We run the live sessions from 3 to 6 Pakistan time, and they can just join us every day.
Yes.
All right.
And you can also make it a hybrid event if you have like friends around you where this Wi-Fi is good. We can have with a small screen, a small computer is good enough. We can join us from live from where you are and ask questions and just hang around.
Excellent.
And we'll share the music with you and with all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's a very nice session. The time has been flying and ideas have been flying and positive vibes has been flying as well. So thank you. Let's play on music again, love.
Okay, thank
you. All right, cheers.
Cheers. See
All
you.
Right, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Dignity is the key to unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices, chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, Are you ready now? Are you
dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world? Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
Dancing in the rain, owning my challenges, being alive, having fun. Transformational ownership, Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the party.
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now,
Dignity is the key to unlock your consciousness towards the environment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings.
For you.
You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good driven by acting on them, but good comes from accepting that the dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution.
Climate change affects our economy. Welcome to Kikesen Sport Tournament. It is for you. Welcome to Kikesen Sport Tournament.
Saya nggak marah juara.
So you.
It's for you.
The youth are starting to take action on climate change mitigation and adaptation through diverse initiatives now more than ever before. Ahead of COP28, the youth are coming together strong using the hashtag It's For You to spread awareness about climate change and climate action through various crafts and day-to-day activities. We can only create real change by coming together and joining our voices to spread awareness. Climate action starts with us. Climate action is for us.
Nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
Dreaming
comes.
of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas, and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits.
Yes, welcome, Ahmed.
We have live from Dubai. Ahmed is joining us. I don't know whether he can hear us. Ahmed, can you hear us? He's tuning in from COP28 Dubai.
Hi, Ahmed, founder of Green Think Green. See if you can.
He's in a conference. He's showing us live in an event. He was part of our discussion, It's For You campaign. And he just wanted, I told him to log in to show us what's happening live from Dubai. So he's attending this event right now.
That's good.
Thank you, Ahmed. And we'll talk to you again.
I think it's amazing. I think this COP28 is going to be this. Pakistan is going to have wins. Indigenous people, tribes around the world will have a win, and the African continent and the youth will have a massive win. Climate education will have a huge say, and the people will be hopefully feeling empowered. And also when it comes to funds and raising and climate justice, etc., it is huge. Many things going on, Sadaf, and as Raj was telling us, Al Gore, he has a message to the end, and he's going to hold oil, gas, and coal accountable.
I mean, let's see what happens, Inger. I mean, these discussions are it's a start. There's a positive, there's a hope, as we were discussing with Sumera, with all these Middle East crises. COP28 is still happening. So there's a lot happening. So what's your takeaway from this Zimbabwe session? I really enjoyed it.
I think it was amazing. The reason why it was amazing was that it brought in a voice that he was also talking about, the vulnerable, 70% on the countryside. And then again, we got emotional on it because, he's really saying that Southern Africa will suffer, and there will be a crisis. There will be no rains. It's 8 degrees hotter than normal. It's up to 40 degrees, which is huge. Normally there's 30 degrees, which is also high temperatures. So it's getting heat waves that I haven't seen before without rains. So there will be lack of food, and people will be suffering. That's my scary take on it. I loved that Raj was tuning in, had a clear voice, and the Zimbabwean Dominic was also expressing that, I can see your sunglasses, and it's because the future might be bright, but still it will be tough. I think
I like the part of where even Sumera, when she was telling about this whole COP28 and the discussions going on. So at least, the journey, it was like she attended the COP12 and now she's attending COP28. And the journey that she told us is just amazing. People know climate change is there. They're thinking about it. The youth participation, Inger, is phenomenal. I don't know whether you watch the news. When I can't sleep at night, so I log into all these different channels from Africa, from Pakistan, India, all across the globe. It's just phenomenal. Let's talk about youth mobilization and youth participation in these COPs. What do you think? When they come back, are they going to be motivated, energized to work on these projects?
Yes, it's the like popular way of expressing this is that it's the challenges are complex and difficult, and they're full of paradoxes. Or dear David Coe and Richard, they're really expressing it as it's like a train, but the train is going in two different directions. And the thing is to do the electrifying of our energy grids. And at the same time, we're pumping up more oil, gas, and coal. And that is the danger of it. And that's also what Al Gore is saying. It's like the problems are paradox and complicated. And that's where I'm a little bit soft on Greta Thunberg, not because I like to have a partnership with Greta Thunberg. And this is also from you in Pakistan. Fridays for Pakistan, Fridays for Future. If you have, let's go back to school, all of us. Let's go back to make a climate education mainstream and have system thinking and complex structures to reality. And that's where also the CSR, ESG, there's so much greenwashing, and that means lying in the corporate sector. And we're not taking facing the root cause as such. It's greenwashing. It's like paying off things that you're doing wrong, like with offsetting can be. So, and also the danger with offsetting, in 10 years, it will be hotter. So if you plant the whole Sahara full of trees tomorrow, it will still be a fire that can be drying up the trees because they are dry and they're dry and they catch a fire. So there's many obstacles. And that's why the youngsters and the youth, let's go back to school, all of us. Let's be humbling down that we don't know all the solutions, but what we can do in our community is important. And that is where the localized for future of engagement comes in. And again, talking about trees, we are having this book of trees, collecting stories, really emphasizing that what can happen in urban cities, like they do in the United States, planting more trees. So you have the cooling aspect of trees. And like Rob Delat is talking about, the Amazon rainforest is to plant trees, but you have to plant it correctly because even the Amazon rainforest is dying off because of the heat.
Yeah, let's hear a discussion, Rob Delat, and for the viewers, it will be very interesting. Invite him and let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, let's fly to Brazil and let's talk about the rainforest as the big heart, the green heart of the blue planet. And we're cutting too much trees too fast, but the dieback of the trees is happening, the fires of the forest is happening. So it's complicated for us, all of us. So climate change is taking a stand and having its own force, and we all together on it. So that's why we say it is for you, it is for every tree. We have to look after it as babies, and to even go back to Pakistan to plant more trees, sadaf, mangrove trees, seaweed, the ecosystem restoration of farmland to restore the land, work in partnership with animals. We have all the tools and technology, but we we get finances, and sometimes the finances will never come, but still we have to have this positive spirit. Let's fly over to the Amazon and listen to Rob Delat.
28, which is happening in Dubai. I welcome my very dear friend, Rob, all the way from Brazil. He'll be joining us. He's a world traveler and he's an entrepreneur as well. He's building an international ecotourism company with partnership in almost 17 countries. He's a philosopher and also a climate activist. He'll be talking about the Brazilian rainforest and his tree plantation projects that he did. Also, I have the founder of the Rethinking Choices, David Coe from UK. He's also in the session, and let's hear them out. Hi, Rob. Welcome to the It's For You campaign.
Hello, Sadaf. Hello, David. Sadaf, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Rob. Now I will give you the chance to talk about the amazing projects that I just mentioned that you've been involved in. I know now also you're currently in Sri Lanka and joining this session with us. So do tell us, our viewers, about the tree plantation projects that we were discussing earlier in the Amazon forest, if I recall.
Okay, thank you. Let me first start about the Amazon. A couple of years back, I was talking to a scientist called Antonio Nobre, and he is the younger brother of one of the IPCC vice chairs, Carlos Nobre, who was one of the Nobel Prize winners in 2007, together with Al Gore. And Antonio told me that I was talking to him about preservation of the Amazon rainforest, and he told me that what needs to happen is to restore the canopy in a specific area in the northeast of the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, because the so-called biotic pump is an extremely important phenomena that draws in humidity from the Atlantic Ocean. And especially on the northeast side, the canopy in two states in Brazil, Pará and Maranhão, they were destroyed a lot, and that's basically hampered the biotic pump function.
I'm sure a lot of people sort of get an understanding from the term biotic pump in the sense that it must be some sort of a pump in that way. But could you kind of describe a little bit more about, what does it pump and how that affects, kind of the rest of us in that way?
Yes, I'd love to. So basically, as soon as photosynthesis starts in the morning at the first sunlight, the leaves start to get to work, and basically they absorb CO2 and make sugars. And at the same time, they evaporate a lot of water, which they pump up from their root system. Water vapor is lighter than air, so it goes up, and at the same time, these trees also give small particles, so-called aerosols, biological aerosols, into the in the air, and these are the nucleus points to make drops. So while this is all going up, at a certain level, they start forming clouds. Now, what is cloud forming? Basically, the gas that the water gas, the vapor turns back into liquid. Now, you know how much energy it costs to boil a kettle of water. Basically, that energy is released at that cloud level, and two things happen at the same time. The one thing is that you get an implosion. That means water vapor, a gas, is about, I think, about 1,200 times the volume of the same amount of water as liquid. So a lot of this vapor condenses at the same time, because at a certain temperature level, that makes an implosion, and that draws in a vacuum. That's a vacuum. So then you get that there's an upsurge from air from below and from sideways, and especially forests near the sea basically start then pulling in moist air from the sea. The second thing, which I also like to mention straight away, which is actually a totally different energy, is that when at the moment of condensation at cloud level, that energy that was absorbed when it was made vapor by the plants actually radiates out as photons, as infrared radiation, and a large part of that goes straight out into space because it's not stopped by the greenhouse gases. So actually, it cools. It takes heat from the forest floor, and then at cloud level, it throws a lot of it out of space. The story is a bit more complicated, but I think we don't have the time to do all the details. But this is roughly the idea.
Wow. So let me summarize that, if I may. Then basically, as soon as the sun rises, as soon as the day starts, the trees get to work, and what it does is it essentially creates its own rain. It evaporates out the water and also the things to make it rain. And in doing so, what it does is the energy that it's taking energy from the ground, which is all being heated up by the climate and all the concerns we have. But because it happens high up in the atmosphere, that energy is released back out in space. So it cools our planet, it gives it rain, it allows it to go, and then as it does so, it draws in the currents from the oceans and allows the winds to form and all around the globe.
There is a clear scientific evidence that the deforestation in the Amazon area, because it's the largest water vapor pump in the world, has actually detrimental effect as far away as snowfall in the Tibetan highlands and a melting of the West Antarctic glaciers. Don't take it from me, but there is clear peer-reviewed studies that show that there is a direct connection.
That's amazing. I mean, I understood that the rainforest is important. I'd always thought of it in terms of what people say about, being the lungs. I hadn't realized this cooling effect. I hadn't realized that, our wind farms don't function without them. In that way, I think is really quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, David. That's so. The one thing I'd like to add very clearly is that because of that gas becoming liquid and shrimping to maybe a thousandth of its volume, it creates a vacuum, and that pulls in wind. So it creates wind, it clouds, rain, wind, and exports heat into the outer atmosphere all at once.
So really, what it's doing is allowing our wind farms to function, is saving us from climate change along, and it's actually maintaining its own water system so that it can carry on doing this. And if we don't allow these billion trees to be planted, then what we find is we make our situation much worse.
We are seeing the largest drought ever in the Amazon right now, in the central Amazon, which the people still don't understand that a large part is not just El Nino and climate change and other causes. It's the collapse of the biotic pump function because so many trees have been cut. So almost at the same time, I got connected to a young chief, an indigenous chief called Ronilson Guajajara, whose territory, his tribal territory, was actually in the area where Antonio said that we needed to reforest. And he asked me, can you help us protect and reforest our area? So that was a double whammy for me to go in. But I had no resources, so I actually I invited Eden Reforestation. That's a worldwide reforestation organization who had just set up shop in Brazil and were looking for projects to come in. And within months, actually, we were on the ground making deals with the Guajajara Indians, and they get paid for planting trees. Which these people are quite poor. The extra income was absolutely welcome, and so off we went, and starting to plant trees. But after 1 million trees, the money ran out. So then we transformed it into a carbon credit project, and we're still right now talking to several customers, basically, who want to get carbon credits out of the project, and we're now looking at several partners at least 16 million trees, but it could be something that even goes up to 50 million trees, not just in Arariboya, but also in nearby areas. So that's roughly what I have to tell about this specific project. Mind you, it sounds like a lot, but 1 million trees is not that much if you know what needs to be done, because we're talking probably something to the tune of 3 to 4 billion trees in the northeast of Brazil in order to get the biotic pump functioning again. And it takes about 15 to 20 years before a forest is strong enough to actually do enough evapotranspiration and cloud forming, etc., to start this phenomenon and strengthen it. So we're in a hurry because basically we're already starting to lose the Amazon rainforest. I hope we're not too late, but let's see.
You had some slides and things for us earlier. I'd like to try and show them if I may. I'm going to try and find out how best to do that. So if I try to add them onto the stage, this is where they are. Would you like to walk us through and maybe tell us which ones we should be presenting along?
Well, actually, you can pick out any one of these, and I'll just simply show you what you're seeing.
Okay.
So just
there's some video slides and there's some video slides and there's some others. Okay, so let me try that.
Okay,
maybe
if that works, that's maybe better picture.
Okay, so let me do that.
Let's see. Let's see if.
So how about here?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, what you saw just now on all these things is destroyed rainforest, where afterwards there was an invasion by local farmers. First, they came for the wood, and then they planted grass to put cattle there, and so you saw a cattle pasture. Yeah.
So this is going back to that first picture that we had. Is this right?
So you have to understand this was lush rainforest before.
Wow. So now what you have is obviously, I mean, a path like that is not part of a normal rainforest, and there's no forest.
No. There's no forest. No.
There's no forest. It's just kind of grassland.
Yes, and these exotic grasses, they don't belong there. Basically, they don't allow trees to grow. And to just give you an idea, local warming, I remember that on one day we measured temperatures on this field and it was 42 degrees, while in the rainforest, just 2 miles from there or so.
Yep.
Oh, now we get some Portuguese talking through it. And about 2 miles from there, the temperatures were 23 or 24 degrees. So in the forest. So you can understand that these fields are extremely hot. So and here what you just saw in the beginning, a very small palm tree.
Yeah.
And those palm trees are the ones that we that are able to survive through the grass. So basically we inject all kinds of species, hardy species. You see in the middle row that will survive. Once they become a little larger, after 1 or 2 years, they give enough shade. So we put other species in, and also slowly they start to cover the grass, and the grass will become weaker. It depends a little bit on the situation. Every piece of land has a different recipe to reforest.
So this is very different from the reforestations I have kind of heard of people who say, you know, we've got this great plan, we have a drone, we fly up in the air, we throw these seeds around. And this is actually saying if you really want to reforest it, you can't just do that. You have to look after your trees, you have to care for them like you might care for your children. Almost. You see how they grow. Yep, sorry, over to you, Rob.
Yeah, actually, and also you don't plant trees, you plant a forest. And why am I saying that? A forest is a community of several species of trees and undergrowth and bacteria and fungi that enrich the soil. So all of these things need to come together, and then that society of living beings basically starts to take care of each other. And every terrain that you see basically needs a different approach. Here you see, for instance, there's a lot of sand. which means that the rains already washed out a lot of the fertile soil and the carbon that was there. So you have to have pioneer species that can so-called nitro fixers that we put nitro in the soil, make quick shade, and can survive the first 2 years. In other places where the soils are still a little bit left, you can also work with other species. So every terrain needs a different recipe.
And I see here animals, and are they intended to be there, or they? How do they be part of this?
No, they're not supposed to be there. I think here I'm not sure, but I think we made an excursion to another terrain where we still had to start. And one of the things, of course, you have to do is you have to keep the cows out, or goats, or whatever, because until after maybe 3 or 4 years, when the saplings are high enough, they will simply destroy them. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. Yeah. So this was probably just an excursion to see if we could, what we would have to do in order to do this. First one, that would be fencing off. So, and here are the reforesters.
These are the palms that you were mentioning, sort of the early parts that can grow in these environments and give the shade for others. Is that right, or is this something?
Yeah, well, these are actually survivors from the last the last destruction. We've only started in somewhere end of 2021, and this was in August 2022. So you only see very small trees. So these are older ones that survived.
And these people, they are the ones who are helping to try and see what is the right approach in that way.
Well, actually, here they're just with their motorbikes, but they are actually the ones who make little holes and put in seeds or seedlings in there to plant the trees.
Okay.
So they do the hard work.
I'm really kind of amazed by the description in that way, because there's so many efforts to plant trees, and a lot of them run into this situation of the fact that it's like, oh, nature should take care of it and that's it, and we can go away. But here you're actually saying, imagine, there's a personal relationship, there's a personal story with trees in that way. You need to nurture them as they nurture you, because they create this biotic pump, as you described. That is absolutely amazing in that way. But it's not going to just come naturally, because the goats and the cows will come along and eat them before they're grown enough. You need to get the first stage, and then you get other ones along who can grow along. It's almost like kind of developing a whole school. If you imagine, right? Some friends who develop school, they start from a primary year, and then as they go on, they introduce other years. Is that sort of similar kind of?
Yeah, I love that description that you give, and also basically in the beginning you can't just put a baby outside at the age of a couple of months, say, okay, now good luck. So,
yes, exactly.
So the same the same goes for trees.
Yes, and we do, the tree planting, I think it's become a bit like, as you say, put the baby outside, it'll be fine. It's just like, absolutely not. And these are these the seeds? Are these
Yes, there are some seeds. I can't see which one this is. Actually, right. It could be. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, these are. And you have to understand, it's always a mix of trees. I could mention a couple, but the most important is to say that we.
So,
Inder, how are you?
I'm fine. We're into our last 15 minutes of our morning show from Pakistan to Norway. We are here to celebrate the stories from around the world when it comes to climate change, and also to the important message: let's put a limit to oil, gas, and coal. And that's the story.
Yeah. So our co-host from Karachi, Pakistan have joined in. I thank Mr. Jinnah, and Iram Fawad is here as well. So I will be leaving you guys early now. So it was a nice session, nice day. Iram, beautiful conversations with Zimbabwe, Dubai. So yeah, see you all tomorrow soon, and have a nice closing session for another 20 minutes. Bye from Islamabad.
Bye-bye, Islamabad.
Bye-bye, Islamabad. Thank you for your services. So, hi, how are you, Inger? How are you, Janasab? How are you doing?
How are you, Iram and Inger?
I'm good as ever.
You know, there is a treaty in Dubai, and they call it the cool treaty for a hot planet, and it's about. So I feel kind of cool. Ice cool. It's 10 minus outside, so it's quite covered snow.
But the
heat.
Inger, let me just tell you one thing about Iram. Like as a Pakistani, we admire everyone. Everyone is adorable to us. But when it comes to Iram, is a real inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Coming from you is like amazing.
Let me finish. The way she's working so hard, because I'm working, only on online session I do, but she's actually working physically, roaming around, doing things, and I've seen her everywhere, wherever, when you open a Facebook, she's there. So practically she's doing, very good.
So, but let's talk about that, Iram, because I admire you as well. You have a global voice. You're a global citizen, and it is for you. It's a symphony of a billion voices for COP28 in Dubai. Between the two of you, how many people do you think will reach around the globe?
I guess with my contacts and on the LinkedIn, as well as I'm connected to you and David on the LinkedIn, I've got around I think 3,000 to 4,000 CEOs, directors, and these kind of people, chairpersons of the organizations, and a few of the CTOs and all that. It's all global people who has connected with me on LinkedIn, and I've been sharing it, and people have been asking me, what are you up for this, girl? What is this? Can you just let me know? So I've been answering the same thing, like it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. After this entire COP28, we have a global voice now. And as per I'm talking about only LinkedIn. Now, when it comes to Facebook, people been requesting me. There are like around 2,000 people who are requesting, can you just make us a speaker? We did this and this and this and this, and there's an entire list of people in my messenger. So this kind of stuff is happening. So I guess people are engaging with us day by day, and it must not die. We should do at least one or maybe two streams a week, so that people should know that not only the COP28 and this Symphony of Billion Voices, it's for you, happened for 12 days. It has to be a regular podcast. And I guess that could be because if you want to make a change, it's a human psychology. I learned it over the years that if you keep on telling, if I say meet Iram Fawad, Meet Iram Fawad is a brand now, because I do business development and everything like that. Now, what happened is when I say MIF, it's like Meet Iram Fawad. Everybody knows who I am, because what I do, I empower and I do. Now, there's no need to tell. If they see my picture, they know what I can do.
Yes.
So this is the thing. It's the human psychology that you play with. And I guess it's marketing, digital awareness. It's really important. Digital literacy. I was, nil in digital thing. But then I connected with...
I know you're amazing. That's
because
I connected. When we started with all this, we started during COVID, and it was Sab. He was our maestro every Friday. World Climate School, come on stage. Inge Mette, come on stage. Do this. And the outreach Mr. Jinnah, he put up the calculation is up to 300,000 people. And, you know,
Yes.
I'm not famous in Norway. I'm famous in Pakistan, you know.
Yeah, you are, because when you talk to Andrea Mason, I was the one who brought her here, because nobody knew her on this one, because I started doing the Empower Hour. And
Yes.
then there are so many others, like, you know, there's a woman from UK. I connected with her. And, you know, and she's also a lifetime coach, and she do wonderful stuff. So I guess we all have to do something to make a noise. If we make a noise together, it's more louder. Always remember that, because otherwise, if you just say it once, nobody will
You know,
notice.
this is the algorithm, isn't it? You're a
Yes.
specialist on this algorithm.
Yes.
My friend Iram, I'm going to play this for you. This is
Okay.
because I love this thing about you as a tech woman. I love it, and thanks to you. We're landing in Dubai. We're flying in, you know.
Yes.
You know, this is amazing journey you've had for the last years, Erum. So I'm happy to work with you and Gina as well. And I think now for the last 3-4 days before we have the 12th, we're going to have the celebration and closing party for all of guests. I think we can even reach more people if we really make more noise, and to empower more women, but also empower more men. Go into
What
the
I
business
was
community.
What I was thinking, that we should make like shout outs, like closing ceremony. So send it to me. Whoever is listening to me, it's like, it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. So this is the global community, which is you going to be a citizen to us if you make a shout out for us, for it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. We are doing amazing job together, because we mean business, we mean real work. We doesn't mean that, okay, once the stream is done, we are recorded, we're done. No, we are not. We are very enthusiastic, and we are working as a team from Norway to Pakistan to Dubai to US to Thailand. And that's an amazing job we are doing. And honestly speaking, there are so many people who are asking, and even if I go to school, there are some students who are asking, oh, miss, you were on the stream and you're doing some live stuff. We're following you. See, this is the matter, that if you start saying something, people start listening to you. And if you have a voice that God has given you and people are listening to it, it's your duty to deliver it, whatever the knowledge you have. So I guess this is it. Before my time comes, I guess whatever I have in my brains, I have to deliver. This is what I'm going to do.
And from COP28 today with our colleague and friend Raj, who's also working very close to Al Gore and working with indigenous communities around the world. He's even into food in Italy and indigenous food, food farming, forest food system, regenerative agriculture. He's into everything, and he's been supporting all our work, and is a leading voice in Dubai. He was really saying that Al Gore is really stressing this thing about putting a lid or limit to oil, gas, and coal, and that is the big challenge that humanity will do. And I also learned that Pakistan is not, you're relying on importing all the energy. So in a way, if you're saying, and that creates depth, you have to import it, and gets the pollution, air pollution in Karachi, everywhere. In Karachi, in Islamabad, Lahore, pollution
in the world.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, it is happening. Actually, like if you start opening the videos about pollution, it's not only Pakistan. It's like India's in the list, I guess, on the top of it. And then afterwards, there are so many, countries. It's not only Pakistan, it's globally happening. So we should all think alike to make a difference. So it's not one person who's going to make a difference over here. We have to stand up and make one agenda. So one agenda or one pager is the solution to this entire globe. I guess pollution, you and me cannot just, we can clean our home. We can clean our environment where we're living. But if other people in community are not even bothered, that's the matter to worry. That you have to aware them that, hello, you're sitting in there and you're doing nothing on this one. You should be doing something about it. Because if you don't tell the students, the youth, that this is the matter that you have to think about, I guess there's no use of doing anything else then.
So absolutely. I'm going to add a banner to all of yours, and it's going to say that Mr. Jinnah, we have interviewed you as well, and we are having a beautiful beautiful interview with you that is also going live.
I'm with you. I'm here.
Yeah, and this is the hashtag. It's for you. You find it on YouTube, and it's so amazing that we are working on this together. I really, it really is. It really is something. Here is the It's For You campaign on YouTube. It's good. So you can find it on YouTube. Here it is. It's a little bit complicated, but if you get in touch with the It's For You Facebook page, it will be there. It would really be an opportunity to learn from what Mr. Jinnah is thinking about climate change and our duties to act. But please also use the time we have left to share your concerns that you have here.
Thank you, Inga.
So what is your take on COP28 now and the role of?
No, it's very, very interesting. And as I said earlier, at least Pakistan making a strong impression at COP28. Even our Prime Minister was there, and also government and private sector people was there. And as I shared earlier, that at least we got some sort of the project had actually got the seed money for that. So that's very good. And of course, after four days, when we have a complete report, then we know exactly how the COP28 went and what the Pakistan contribution was and all other countries. So I think it's good. At least there's one platform where we can raise our voice about the environment.
Yeah, it is. It's more than that, and it's correctly as Irun Fawad is saying, and also friend. The team from, as we're closing our team, the team effort now, we have the backstage. We're bringing David M from Nairobi into the platform. We have Irun Fawad from Karachi, and Mr. Jinnah Saab from Karachi as well, and me from Norway. And I'm so happy that we are a working team across countries, across the globe, and across time zones. So over to you, David Irum. What's your last expression for the last minute?
So I suggest that the team should meet and we should go together somewhere to Dubai. Let's just make a program. Tourism.
It's sustainable.
Yes. So talk about it to start off, and we can make it full.
Iram, whatever you do, but don't forget we had a dinner.
Oh yes, why not? Oh yes,
don't forget that.
Oh wow, thank you so very much.
But we have been having more than 160 people. How many people, Gina, have we been talking to now so far?
I made a list of something like a 200 plus, and there are a lot more. I know 200 plus.
So all of them wanted to fly to. All of them wanted to fly to Dubai. So we've been saving money, and we've been saving the planet. So we can calculate $5,000 for each for 1 week. Maybe it's up to 10,000.
And apart from the saving money, we have saved a lot of the carbon emission also. We didn't travel, and so we saved a lot, not just the money.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm with you on this one, but we must do something about it, that we should, as a meet, we should go and talk about it. And let's just talk to David on this one, that maybe in 2024, we should meet together, maybe in Pakistan, maybe in Dubai, wherever. I guess if you are coming to Pakistan for the skiing, so why not just bring over many of those people with you?
Well, if we get the CSR profile up and running, we can do the training.
And Inga, it's my wish. When I do today, I will be doing 157th program. So when we do 200 program, I will invite Inga to Pakistan.
Oh, wow!
How many weeks?
I do the live program.
Yes, we do a live 200. How many do you have now? 56?
57.
It's 53.
So how many Fridays it will be? It will be...
Oh, it's about, of course, 53 Fridays.
53 Fridays. It's a long time.
Probably, 1 year or so?
Bravo, Jinasa, bravo!
Bravo. Maybe earlier when we do 175, maybe we can change everything. Maybe 175. When we do a live program, and
why don't we do the 160, because it's only 5. Then it's not waiting like 1 year.
Yes.
I will be falling asleep then.
Yeah, but at least on 14th of August. I will definitely, my birthday, I will definitely do something to do live program and invite Inga.
Oh, yeah. But let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the stories. The morning session, 8 December, live from Dubai, live from stories around the world. We are closing our first session today, and in 3 hours later, we will start again from Karachi, and from Nairobi, and from London, and the team from Nairobi will take over with David M as a lead, and of course the creativity from Nairobi is high, and that's the music.
Great.
Yes, the official DJ, Madam Inga Mattel.
Unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings? You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so
all we
So
get.
we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's